And what's up, everybody, and welcome back to episode 14 of All About Millennials, and happy, if we can say that, 4th of July weekend, because this has been one, I would say, quiet but crazy year. And with me today, as always, is my great yet goofy co-host, Kaehla Maurer. How's it going?
Hi. It is definitely crazy. Oh my gosh. It is so crazy that I am letting myself show you guys that I'm working from home. Literally, I'm in bed right now. I'm exhausted.
I just got done streaming, so I'm like, okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh. How's that going?
Well, yesterday I ended up having to basically almost get kicked out the house over a stream.
Why?
Well, the trash talk has immenced, and so for those in the tech community, we all know that there are some cheap and broken characters. One of my roommates basically thought that one of the most broken characters in fighting game history was trash. So to prove him wrong, not only have I not played the game for like 2 weeks before the game night, but then I character locked myself, so meaning I used nothing but that character in the play, and push come to shove, just took him to school, took him to church. And it was an ugly beatdown.
Oh no. Well, I see that you are safe in your home right now recording, so
Yeah, it's all love and it's just jokes, but at the end of the day, it's still, you gotta love a bit of trash talk.
Good. Okay. It's good trash talk. We
Yeah,
like
it's
a
good
little bit of
trash talking.
positive trash talk.
Oh yeah. And to be honest, we are not, with what's going on, I kind of wanted to distance a little bit away from the usual norm and what's been going on in society, because I don't know about you, Kaehla, but I kind of got hit either directly or indirectly with all three major things that have been going on in the last like week and a half.
Actually, I would say that now things are more normalized in my life because I work a seasonal job where we just tried to pretend that everything else in the world, it's like working at Disney World, but very private and exclusive. So, when you step into a Disney park and you have to pretend that everything is normal and perfect, like I have fully jumped into that role of making it normal as possible for my clients. So,
Content creators comparing our lives to Disney World. Okay, I see what this is.
it's the Orlando in me. Maybe I miss it. I don't know. My brothers did go to Universal last week,
Have you
and
gotten tested?
I have no idea. I was kind of like, are you guys wearing masks? Are you going to the bathroom and washing your hands? I mean, not going to the bathroom. Are you guys washing your hands? Like, are you eating in the park? What's going on? They said that there's like no one around. So they got on all the rides in 5 minutes, even the 2 hour wait ones. And they did wear their masks, and so at least there's that. They didn't eat in the park. I hope they washed their hands. They're teenage boys.
Okay.
But my sister thought she got corona, but luckily it was negative. She did get tested. So
And
actually, it has been crazy.
yeah, I know. And legit, like I was in a training for dance, I think, last Saturday, and I was talking with my mentor, and he told me that everybody and their mom, either it's been the speaking out movement or BLM, and it's like he lost his job over the speaking out movement. As an
Why?
editor.
Because they just didn't want to.
No. One of the on-air talent, enough said, got caught up in it. So the entire brand, because it was a newer brand, adioso.
Wow.
Yeah, so he lost an editing gig over that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's getting real out here. But enough about being real, and for today's episode, I know Kaehla and I posted online. Let's just see for the 4th of July what you guys want to know about myself and Kaehla. So,
I think I should premise this because I've been doing the social media, so I was literally the one
you've been dealing
writing
with the
down.
BS all weekend.
And so I've got to say, the way that this list started, I feel like we should just jump into the weirdest one. And
You want to go with the weirdest one first, and then
I'm gonna go with the weirdest one first. Let's just jump right in. Thank you guys
Lord.
thank you guys for actually, responding. And we did say ask us anything. So with that being said, here we go. What's up, AM crew? I found myself in a bit of a predicament. In my work desk, I keep a small container of mouthwash. Whenever I get up to speak with a manager or a client, I'll rinse out my mouth and spit in a cup at my desk. This morning, one of the coworkers confronted me to say my practices are disgusting and makes him feel uncomfortable. Do I find a new system, or is it my choice to do what I please at my own desk? Thanks. I feel like this is the most weird, but the most millennial questions that could be asked. This is very personal to this person. And also, I want to look beyond the oddness of the situation, and let's talk principles for a second. This person is saying, my desk is my haven. How come Karen can put up pictures of her kids and her dogs and a calendar of horses, but I'm not allowed to practice my hygiene because it makes people uncomfortable? I see the principle behind it. However, I just want to say congrats on being clean. But but I think once a day, max twice, is probably good enough for mouthwash. And that's all I'm going to say.
All right, I'm going to hop in on this because there's so much to unpack with this one question. I don't even know.
Do we need to go into a whole segment?
I almost want to, but I'm not. There's so much to unpack with this. And I have questions regarding this. I'm like, was this 2019 or was this 2020?
True.
When they were thinking about this, because you guys already know why.
And how long has this been burning in your brain?
And then, are you in a private area, or is it one of the cubicles to where private off-site office, or is it a cubicle to where everybody and their mama can see what's going on? So,
would that make a difference?
That kind of does, because based on this, I think it is a cubicle just for the fact like other people can see you legit like getting ready to floss.
Honestly, though, when you put it like that, I mean, I would probably floss at my desk. Like,
I mean,
but what are they doing? Like gargling the mouthwash? Like, that's kind of weird. Like, what does he say? Go to the bathroom. Seriously, dude.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I've seen people in the bathrooms like fully change of outfits and get ready for their day in the bathroom. at the
I'm
sink. And
definitely
yes, it's
notorious.
just like, wait, what the heck is going on? But it's not random right at the bathroom. And then just have your mouthwash, have all your toiletries on deck, and a change of clothes on deck at your desk.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah, right.
uncommon, but physically like doing
Yeah.
and having a sink at your desk, I'm like, is it a cubicle
I
or
don't
do
think
you
this
have
person has a
indoor
sink. They
plumbing in an
spit it out in a cup.
outside office?
I don't think there's a sink at their desk. So pass. You can't do
Yeah, it's a pass.
it. All right, let's move on to the next question. WTF is a millennial? Coming from a 32-year-old stuck between the boomers' old times. So I was kind of confused on the end of this question. I think maybe they are stuck between kind of being an adult and kind of being like a young adult. I think that's how they feel.
Well,
However, I just want to say that girl, boy, you are a millennial. Like 32 is definitely in that year. I looked up the like dictionary.com Merriam-Webster definition of a millennial, and it's someone who became a young adult in the early 21st century. So that's you, person. That is you.
you're only a couple years older than me.
I know. That too.
And I'm like, I'm still a millennial, like, every sense of the word. Like, it cuts off at like 85, 86 last time I checked.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, I'm going to recommend some older episodes probably throughout this entire thing. And this is the first one because we touched on this episode 1, matter of fact, which is on any and all audio files. We didn't start, I think, till episode 4 going off the video, but
Right.
definitely a more in-depth
You could definitely catch it on
answer
Spotify and Anchor.
episode 1. So moving on.
All right. I like this one. This is like a hypothetical weird question.
I don't know. I think I know where you're going with this.
If you were on death row and were offered your last meal, what would it be? Food, drinks, and dessert. I want you to go first.
If I was on death row, what?
Basically, this is the last meal of your life. What are you going to eat? What are you going to drink? And you get a dessert.
Oh my gosh. I wish this was a little bit, but basically, what is in my last supper?
Yes.
Oh man.
What's the one thing that you just are thinking about right now? Like
And it's
what
crazy
would you,
because I just had some Mexican food like 20 minutes ago.
I mean, that was definitely one of my thoughts.
But I gotta go with just some pizza. And I'd either go Chicago's no deep dish stuffed crust
Ooh.
and deep dish stuffed crust meat lovers. Put in
That's
Arizona off to the side, and then the dessert would probably be a go with and go down to like Cold Stone or something, or get some froyo
yes.
for
What
dessert.
flavor? What flavor? Let's talk flavors.
Cookies and cream, most likely.
Oh, that's my favorite. Oh my gosh. Okay, what did you say for your drink? I was rude. I cut you off.
In Arizona. So,
Oh, okay.
I usually go for like the half and halves if I do.
Oh, okay. You're not just a green tea person, but a half and half.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
lemonade and the sweet tea. I will go for that all day, any day.
All day. That's like the Orlando transplant in you, I think. You gotta have a little bit of sweet tea, a little bit of lemonade, Arnold Palmer.
I was drinking the Arnold Palmers like back in Indy a few years ago, so that kind of stuck with me like since undergrad.
Yeah,
But go ahead,
that's a
Caleb,
cool
before we
thing.
take this to break based off these questions.
Okay, wait, let me answer this question and then if you want we can go to break.
Yeah, because I
Um,
was like, yeah, the rest of
I I think about food 24/7, so I have my answers. Actually, I don't have the dessert answer, but
Ooh.
anyway, the food I would have. This is a very Pacific Islander meal. The food I would have as my last meal is my family's lumpia, which is Filipino egg rolls. My grandma taught my mom how to make them, and she taught me how to make them, and like every holiday people ask for them in surplus, like 100 of them. They go so fast. Like, dip it in some sweet chili sauce. Oh my gosh, definitely my last meal. Drink, also a Hawaiian beverage. I like that you said like something very specific, like sweet tea and lemonade mixed together, which you could call a half and half, like Arizona makes, or Arnold Palmer is like a famous golfer from Florida, so that's his
Yeah.
signature drink. I would pick this juice called Pog, and it's passion fruit, orange, guava. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you've never had it, it's like impossible to find. Well, actually no, you're in California. You should be able to find it. Okay, you need to look up the King's Hawaiian um
I love the rolls.
bakery. But they have an actual restaurant, I think, in LA. I
My
think.
only thing is, I'm a little apprehensive to even try anything that is not like kind of quote unquote prepackaged right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a little apprehensive on that, but it's
Well, one
definitely
day.
something I would look up.
One day, quarantine aside, or I mean, COVID aside, definitely
Yeah,
look that up.
it's not just COVID, it's just like the timing of waiting on fresh. Like, you got to get there at the sweet time for like fresh bread. And this is, and I know there's a donut question because I saw that as well. And forget my Killer Instinct ringtone. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, it's something about going and getting the freshest of fresh bread that they get out just at the right time, even with
Yeah,
donuts.
I hear that. I hear that.
So you would have to basically get there, like say for instance the bakery or the restaurant opens at like 5, 6 in the morning. You would have to get there. Maybe it's almost like waiting in line for a gig is how you would treat going to a bakery or a donut shop. And there are some, shout out Long's Bakery, no sponsor, but it's the truth. Like, I
Wait, what's
remember
it called?
countless Sundays going, like, I think 6, 7 in the morning, and we had service at like 9, 10 o'clock, and just waiting in a line for like the best like donuts ever. And I will always have a sweet spot for Longs over Krispy Kreme over whatever over
Where's that? Indiana?
But
Is that in
let's
Indiana?
go back to King's Hawaiian before I start gushing
No,
and
I
going
no,
into.
I'm totally in this. I told you we're talking about food.
Before I
I'm
end
a
up
foodie. If I go to the Midwest,
across
I want to know where to
the
go.
order. Let's continue the King's Hawaiian discussion that you were having.
Okay, so anyway, I'm just recommending King's Hawaiian to you. Obviously, we're not sponsored by any of these people, but hey, we're supporting you guys. But like, no, my aunt took me there. I mean, they have like, they're from Hawaii, obviously. But took me there, and I'm just saying that if you're going to get this Hawaiian drink, it's probably there. But you could probably find this drink easier in California than I can find it in New York. That's what I'm trying to say. Passion fruit, orange guava, Pog.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna ask you to send me like details on the store and the place.
Okay. I will
I'm
definitely.
definitely gonna like look this up and probably look up the dumbest thing ever. Don't want to look at that. But with that being said, shall we take 5 and we will see you guys in a little bit. Well, we are back, everybody, and man, this has been one of those episodes that kind of fun, kind of just odd to do, and there were some questions to where my mouth is hungry for dinner now because
Yeah.
I'm like thinking donuts. Can I just skip? Can I skip dinner after this
Yes.
and
Wait,
go straight to dessert? Because I'm like thinking of donuts like constantly now. But how? Other than that, how you been?
donuts for dinner? I could go into a place that has donut burgers, but never mind. We're not doing that right now.
And yet we have should we just start with that question so we can end this donut discussion because I see it
No,
in here.
no, we're gonna torture ourselves. We're saving it for last. Savor it. The best for last. You made me stop my conversation about your donut place. We're gonna save it. How about let's go into a little bit of entertainment.
Okay.
Which upcoming 2020 movies should be released theatrical or streaming?
I want to say Mulan. That should just go straight to streaming.
Ooh, okay. Mulan, yes. Stream any Disney movie stream. By the way, it's Friday, July 3rd, and Hamilton is streaming on Disney Plus.
What?
Yes, 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 yes. A live performance of Hamilton was recorded for our viewing pleasure. Oh my gosh. Let freedom ring!
For those watching online, you simply see the difference in opinions when it comes to musicals. I don't think I've watched a musical like that with that much enthusiasm since I want to say Usher released a Confession series.
Okay, well, same thing. Same thing. Usher breaking the atmosphere. What am I trying to say? Breaking the music industry. Hamilton breaking the music industry as well as musical theater, and now basically movies. It's okay. First of all, Hamilton is like the number one musical right now. One of them. There are a few. I'm not going to get into it. I really do like musicals. This is like my musical theater side coming out, but I'm not going to get into it. Hamilton, though, you need to watch it. You'll like it. It's definitely woke right now. It's definitely the thing to watch.
Oh, okay, I'll consider it. And this is just for me. And I think because I watched it while I was going through undergrad for a film studies classes for a couple of them, it kind of tuned me out of musicals in a bit. And it was the movie Singing in the Rain. And I'll be
Oh, yeah.
honest, why, like, I have to really understand the plot when it comes to a movie and really get invested. Movies like Singing in the Rain, because it were so jarring in and out of like musical number like every 5 minutes,
Yeah.
it took me out of the movie. And the only reason I think I got through it and actually understood a narrative for an exam.
Okay.
Yeah,
Synopsis. I mean, what's that website that we used to use as kids? I mean, that we never used. Cliff Notes. Get the Cliff Notes on Hamilton.
okay. I'll look into it and see what I can do.
Okay, so next one. This is definitely for you. What are your thoughts on the restart NBA season at Walt Disney World Resorts? Actually, wait, because I can't go into too much about it. I don't know too much about it. All I do know is Disney World is a huge venue for national sports, especially like cheerleading, soccer. At ESPN Wide World of Sports is over there. My question to you is this a speculation?
No, it's actually confirmed and the schedules have been released.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So this is official and this is starting at the end of this month. However, and I still feel some type of way because for those that have not been trying to keep up with the news or anything, Florida has pretty much almost become not just a hotspot, but almost appealing like ground zero for the pandemic right now. So
yeah, so I could see where there's like pros and cons. I wanna like lean heavy on the pros because coming from Orlando, and you saw it. I mean, you obviously went there to
right,
pursue entertainment, and the biggest thing with Florida is they have so much going on and so much potential. And in the 90s, I mean, every star that you think about from the 90s, all you millennials, basically had their start in Florida. And that ranges from NSYNC to Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Ariana Grande, all of those Nickelodeon stars that were with her, they all came from Miami. Like like Orlando is a huge, huge pool for like those people. And because of some government implications, we kind of fizzled out because other cities around the country were easier to do productions in. So I think what people have been trying to do, actually, this is not the only sport that is trying to move to Orlando. USTA just built, the United States Tennis Association just built their headquarters in Orlando. So I know people are, and at the US Open they were big banners, visit orlando.com, even Major League Soccer. So I think that I'm going to lean heavy on that pro, that things are really starting to kind of revamp in Orlando, which I'm happy for. We can also talk about the cons of bringing even more people to an already like chaotic environment this year.
and I think I know part of the reason that it branched out of Florida specifically, and that's partially a film and new media and entertainment sort of deal, but the tax incentives for
Definitely.
entertainers has really, it shifts over time from state to state. 1 minute LA could easily be a great entertainment hotspot because of the tax incentives to work out there. 1 minute, and I've had this discussion with a few of my colleagues whether or not we want to shoot in Atlanta and just migrate like 30, 40 people over there from LA, or shoot in LA and migrate maybe about 15 people over from Atlanta to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a crew, not cast or whatever, for a project. So it, part of it, and I know I'm not wanting to focus a lot on money when it comes to pros and cons, but I think, yeah, we do need stuff reopening, but also need to be smart about it. And having so many different people from so many different, like, traveling through so many different airports is going to be a big point of concern and a big thing for me, big issue with me, because the country was basically not taking our current situation as serious until everybody was traveling around and putting their hands on everything at NBA press conferences, matter of fact. And then like 3 days later, we're all gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically however you feel about it is your opinion and your preference. So I'm not gonna dictate. I hope Kaehla doesn't dictate like what people say. It's just where we stand on this open soapbox. So
Yeah. And honestly, it's happening either way, so.
yeah, it's happening either way, and it's got to happen to basically make people sane, or we're just going to be living in glass boxes with masks on, or respirators at some point if people
Yeah.
don't just start like doing better in
Right.
hygiene and actually knowing the distance knowing the preference of giving people space instead of like crowding.
Yeah. So speaking of crowding, this is a great segue
Oh
to the
no.
next question. Should future music concerts go virtual and or go drive-in? And I think that's a great question because first of all, okay, I have a huge opinion on this too. I saw a friend who was a comedian do a performance at a drive-in, the one drive-in that's left in Florida, I'm pretty sure. But it was an interesting experience for him and also like a huge step forward and a huge step forward for drive-ins to kind of change it up a little bit because people are starting to remember this popular activity where you would take your car to the movie and each group stays in their car and watches a huge screen in a field or watches I guess you could watch like an entertainer on a stage. And I think that's a great way to kind of revive a pastime and also keep the social distancing. I also recently posted on my Instagram story JoJo, who I'm a big fan of. I've always been a big fan of. If you're a girl millennial listening to this, you are probably a big fan of her. But she just did a virtual concert, which was super cool because it's like obviously you don't have the live performance aspect, but it's I think an added tool that will A, keep people apart, and B, keep people still engaged with these performers.
I'm gonna say virtual over drive-in, and the only reason I'm gonna say, and the biggest one, is capacity and trying to make sure like, oh, we have one concert, but actually two. Now that I think about it, the biggest is like capacity. Like, how big a parking lot would you want for
I
the
mean,
amount
they're
of
huge.
space
They
of
could fit.
car to car, and then having people go to the bathroom?
Yeah, the bathroom is one thing. I mean, sometimes drive-ins can fit. I think I want to say hundreds of cars, and that each could have 5 people. Bathrooms are definitely a thing, which you should
Bathrooms
be
are
watching
one, and
into.
then also because I don't know if it's still a thing, but the they'll always have like the speakers. I don't know if they're Bluetooth or if you have to go to a certain station to hear the.
No, they put them in through their car radio. That's what's
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to ask because I know like I think like mid 2000s or early to mid 2000s, possibly late 90s. It was the cable. They would come have like the speaker with the cable connected to the
Mm.
car, and then just drag the speaker over. You can't do that because with
No.
that amount of cars, that would be one, an electrical nightmare
Yeah.
with a
No,
hazard.
each car plays their own radio. They connect to a specific channel. And this is how things used to be. Like before, I mean, this was a huge thing in like the 60s, 50s.
Right.
People would bring their car, they sit there. But what I do like about that is the one thing that stuck out when I asked him how was it, and he said it was so good to hear laughter again, or for singers or bands or DJs it would be to hear people cheering and chanting along, but the having the physical presence and reactions of people is why I like the idea of the drive-in.
I could see it. However, you would still. I feel like even in your car, because of that amount of people, you would still need a mask.
Yeah, of course, of course. But it's
So
allowing you to social distance and still attend an activity, an event,
Yeah,
I should
so
say.
I would say virtual, and then just have somebody man in the comment section.
Yeah. But I think both are great. I
Yeah.
think those are I like both them. Which let's move on to the next question, which is very personable, wow. Very personal for both of us. So
Uh-oh.
this is a which one do you prefer question. I'll start with you. Acting or dancing? That's what they asked you.
Oh, geez. Good grief. And it's like, oh, Lord. Man. Because they both have their pros and cons. But
It's not even like, oh man, I just like one over the other. You're like, yeah, well, neither one of them are perfect, but which one?
no, it's like me weighing out the pros and cons and thinking from like my own stuff, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I think you might have an easier time thinking on this one. And it's almost like I'm trying to decide creatively,
Which
do
one you
I
like?
like using my feet more or do I like using my mouth and trying to channel my own character with my own creativity? So it's pretty much I'm using my own creativity. And I think it's just like health wise what I can do. Because I feel like with me nursing, still nursing a shoulder injury that kind of happened while I was swimming. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna tweak a little bit while I'm dancing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna make me want to prefer acting because I could easily just lay down and channel a character that doesn't have to use all their limbs all the time. But I don't feel as free to just channel on the fly and have that free verse. But when it comes to dancing, I just love free versing and interpretation. So I know that didn't answer my half the question because it's like it's very situational.
Yeah.
It's very situational. And when it comes to it, it's not just like what I do, but it's also one the song versus the script is how I look at it,
Mm-hmm.
which is one and one pretty much the same thing. Because I could like hate a song but love a script, or I can hate a script and love a song and just feel like dancing full out versus now if I were to go into choreo verse freestyle, I'd rather freestyle because I'm want to build a different part of my brain than
Mm-hmm.
just one and two and three and four and try and remember someone else's choreography
Mm-hmm.
for upwards of maybe 2 months, depending on if it's because once I finish that performance, I don't have to remember that piece unless I have to go back to it. But if I'm building my skills for, say, for instance, trying to get better at popping from down the line, like the skills that I get from one session carry over to the next, and they carry over to the next, carry over to the next. So I'd rather, and it's like the same with the acting. I can easily channel one character, throw that script out, and don't have to worry about that character the next. But if I go into and learning acting classes, and I think you've had the same thing, channel a character, bye, leave it. But, and I think it was when you were doing Who's Line, some of those skills from one episode easily benefited another episode and just helped develop your style as a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much at the end of the day, long story short, long rant short, situational, and I can't decide between the two.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to hear your opinion first because I feel like with these questions, and obviously I read them first, I had like a strong opinion on most of them. Um, they're fun questions. So I wanted to hear your opinion and see how yours compare to mine. And I was going to say the same exact thing. Like, I cannot have one without the other. And you saw my reaction to Hamilton coming out.
Yeah.
And you can see that I literally light up when I think about a story being told through song. And that's what I totally get where you're coming from with, like, sometimes you just want to feel the dance movements, and like you could totally get into the song versus like a script. And because at the end of the day, acting, singing, dancing, they're all storytelling. Like, it's just your manner of how you tell the story. And so for me, it's like, even like yesterday, I was just making up choreography to a song because it was just, I don't know, it was one of those songs that was like kind of like disco, but like in my mind, and this is show tunes me, like I could totally just lay out, it's such easy choreography, like box steps, snapping, bobbing, like a lot of arm movements, like, I mean, very Disney, I guess. But but like sometimes like you, and people were like, oh, okay, like they could feel it through me because I'm like telling a story through the dance, you know? But like, I guess career and health wise, they go hand in hand, actually, for me. Like, when I am heavy into music and I think about how far behind, air quote, I am on acting because I spent that time focusing on music, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go back and like fill in the blanks with like acting again. Because for me, they kind of like blend together as one. And I've had people tell me, well, what's your focus? And I'm like, no, but I need both of them. Like, I can't just have one of them. And so with singing, I think because I have had a much stronger foundation in music, that's always going to be like kind of second nature to me. But acting is like a challenge that I want to go after all the time, and like I said, they're both storytelling. So like evoking that feeling and emotion and like sharing that with other people happens in both. And literally can't choose one over the other.
And honestly, to stay on this topic for a couple seconds more, I will say this:
Oh no.
connections in one avenue of creativity can easily and have influenced and benefited the other. So like I've had people I've met on set that have helped me through gaming and dancing, and I've met people on the dance floor that have legit benefited me when I have a camera or my webcam in my fingertips. So I don't know if it's the same or different for Kaehla, but it's simply, hey, use all connections and build off them. And just the way you're trying to be creative, I would say that minute.
Yeah, I think it's just like whatever you're feeling, that's when you're gonna produce your best work. So if you're really feeling music, like that's gonna come out. If you're like not really feeling the acting, then it's so easy. Like you can see it. You're on camera. You can see it. You can hear it in their voice. Like same with music. And I think it's like at one moment I'm here, and then the next moment I'm here. And there are a lot of people that have to have it all. It's just like a part of them.
Yep. And with that being said, moving uh, moving
Moving
on to another
on.
question that has like an an AirB option, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, New York or California? Now, Donaze, have you had experience with New York?
I think this one because we've touched on it, and I think I know where people have wanted to say this and why this ended up in there. Because we touch on you living in New York, me living in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is where the location of the podcast is. We do this over Zoom and just chill, hang out, and then we post on Anchor, YouTube, and call it a week, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like we just met and became friends in Orlando, so I don't think
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite place? Like, is LA
that I've
like
lived.
that you've lived or that you want to live to work? Like, do you feel like I have to live here to do what I want?
I don't think I have to live anywhere other than just I need a spot with AC.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
need a spot with AC and a good heater. So
that's a
pay my electric bill.
that's a great need. I think you could get that covered anywhere you live. But yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, so this journey that people would be asking this question for has started. How long ago did you move to LA?
I moved to LA. Good grief. It's now been 15 months.
Okay,
15 months.
you've been there over a year, and I kind of started this like traveling journey the beginning of 2018, where I was actually I went to like 5, 6 different cities before going to New York for the summer, LA for the winter, back to New York, staying in New York, and then now I plan on moving after the summer again. And what I really have learned in the last few years, and especially as like I'm getting older, is that like where do you vibe with the people? Where do you vibe with the weather? That's what matters. And everything else will fall into place. And for me, I think it kind of varies at a time, and which is good. You know, entertainers will be like you said, you could be living in Atlanta for 3 months or 6 months, however long it takes you to do your production if you do the production in Atlanta. But then you could be back in LA, you know, right after that. So it's like I think I am at a point where I'm still exploring other cities to really see where I want to be.
Nice. And I also said that, and this is not to brag and not to hype myself up, but with me doing Facebook gaming and streaming now, it's more so I'm working a lot from because of the pandemic and the film industry's pretty much on ice until 2021 by the looks of it. And that's just me as a background actor and entertainer unless I plan my own stuff. And even if I do plan my own stuff with or without insurance, it's very unlikely that we'll have the production like run smooth with a large crew until next year. So I ended up doing things more at home that I can easily stay safe, even though I wish I had I'm using more something more than just my house internet. But
Right.
what are you gonna do? And yeah, so just do things that you love, that you enjoy, but also do them in a way to where if you need to, you can be portable, but
Yeah.
all you got to do is just get up out of bed.
I think I'm still thinking about this New York or California. I live in a part of New York that's not New York City. I live in a beach town. I live in a summer tourist area. And I live in a very affluential community. Not that I am affluential, but I get the perks of living there and being with these people. And so it's a very weird life that I've lived since I've been in college to even have this like weird job. And then going to LA, you know, you have some of those same people. But at the end of the day, like if I have the sun, if I, this is such a hippie thing to say, This is the most millennial response. Yay. if I
No.
if I have the sun, literally need the sun. I'm from Florida. My blood is like island. Like I need the sun and I need the water. And I like mountains, but I realize that I need the sun and I need the water. So like this actually goes into um the next I'm going to go out of order for the questions because this goes into the next question, but I love to be on the water, in the water, around the water, and as long as I have that, I'm happy.
Yeah, and I'm just looking for a place to combine not just my personal stuff with what I try and do now, but also my spiritual, like just reviving in my own mind and staying in tune with myself and not getting, I wouldn't want to say lost again. However, I would say just so misconstrued to where I could easily be another statistic. And for a little bit into that, we may be coming, I may actually have an episode in the works for you guys on a little bit of a variation of that in a couple weeks. But that is a couple weeks from now. And back to your water stuff.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, now that I think about it, like California has it all. So I mean, it's got the weather pretty much year round. But you know what?
No.
Well, no, but yes. I mean, it gets pretty cold everywhere else. But also like it doesn't have to be LA for me. Like San Diego, I spent a lot of time in San Diego. I spent a lot of time in LA, which I talk about all the time, but like San Diego is where I spent pretty much an entire month, and the community is very, very much like Orlando. And the weather is amazing. The beaches, I've got to say, are a little bit nicer than LA because there are less people, and also like LA has like a mile of walking in hot sand before you even get to the water.
And my question is when it comes to, and this is where I kind of, this question could have went, cost of living.
Cost of living too, yeah. Well,
Do you
that's the
prefer the
thing is
cost of living in LA, San Diego, or NYC? I can't answer because I've only.
no, it's all expensive. Honestly, it's all expensive, and that's the thing is like you could live somewhere. I I don't want to even say the Midwest, but you could live in the Midwest and have those things and have cheaper living. But if you're streaming, and for me, I can record music from anywhere, and also I want to get into like voiceover work, which I could do from anywhere. Like once you get into that kind of stuff, like podcasting, you can literally live anywhere. Like I love the fact that I could work from home, and where's home? Home is where you and the people you love are.
Mhm.
Granted, my family's all over the US anyway, so
Same.
yeah. So it's kind of like wherever I feel like happy, that's where I'm going to love. But California is definitely one of the top. New York is also one of the top. Right now I have like 5 realistic places that I could be living by the end of the year. So so I can't really answer that question right now, but California overall for everything.
Okay. Whew.
Okay, so next question though is can you explain how to wake surf? Now,
That's
Donaze asked me what is wake surfing, and I said sorry, but like some of the people that listen know that I've been wake surfing, and so this is a question for me. Because this is where my sports come in. I don't really watch fighting or wrestling, and I basically played soccer
belly
and
dancing.
did running. Yeah, or I could do like, entertainment. But I love to be on a boat. I love to be on a board in the water And wake surfing is like, if you've known me far before we even started the podcast or before I even started acting or modeling, literally, I remember one of the first commercials that I submitted for was a wake surfer role. And it I don't know why. It's a weird sport that's not wakeboarding, that's not surfing in the ocean that I'm obsessed with. And basically you get on like a surfboard, so you're not strapped in like a wakeboard, you're not strapped in like a snowboard or water skis. You literally just like pop your feet up on a board and you shift up and you ride the waves behind the boat. And if it's a big boat, the boat will create a wave. So you can actually let go of the rope that's towing you and surf the wave. As long as you stay close to the boat, it'll keep you going forward. And so
Are
so
we ending with torture or are we ending with the patriarchy?
oh, we're ending with donuts. We've decided we're ending with donuts. so
Crap!
So anyway, so wake surfing, how do you wake surf? Okay, if you guys want to know how to look totally sick on a board, if you want to shred the gnar, okay, then you want to have the board flat. If it's a small board, you want to have the board flat on the water, and then raise it just like 45 degrees if you have straps in there. If not, it'll lay flat and your feet will kind of be just like flat. You're leaning back on your back. You're holding onto the rope. Oh, yeah, my body's so sore. I did this yesterday. So sore.
Oh,
And you don't let your arms lock, but you pull against the rope and you just let it pull you up. And then you just shift on your side and you ride. All right, shift onto your side and ride.
and I will say
Feel
this.
power.
It's funny that both of us have water-related injuries right now. You with your back, me with my shoulder.
I mean, I'm not injured. I'm just out of shape. But wait, yours was water related?
I ended up
Go
like
into more detail.
first. So I had been cooped up in the house probably since the start of quarantine, maybe a little after. I don't know, but it's been a minute. So a couple of my colleagues who are house studying this week invited me over last weekend for a small but just barbecue cookout and go swimming. I hop in and like legit hop out the pool. Feel like there was, I don't know if it was like my shoulder feeling like it was dislocated or whatever, but my trap like right at my neck gone. Like I legit couldn't even like, it wasn't torn, it wasn't busted because I feel like I can still have a full range of motion days later. However, it felt like the nerve was so like shot up to where like my neck
Oh,
down was just like ugh. Like
really?
I legit, the only reason because one of my roommates has like a back massager and I'm considering getting a gaming chair. I don't know, some of those massaging gaming chairs just for like my upper and lower back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why like I had to get myself unknotted so quick.
Yeah. I
That's really what recovered, like saved me because I was like, and it took me like a half hour just to knock out the knots that were basically keeping me up all last Saturday night because I felt like my arm was almost like a pack of Rice Krispies that was like squoosh, not split, but at least stepped on.
Whoa. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So it was that much
I
in
mean, I've
pain.
definitely had my injuries on the water, but it's you know, I it's not fun. I'd rather do it on the water than on land. I'm so scared of wiping out on land. Like,
Swimming pool or go to a major body of water, a lake or a river?
I was in
Or
both
ocean.
yesterday.
Huh?
I started in the pool and then I went in the ocean. There's actually, I mean, I'm in Long Island, so it's an island. But we went in the bay. So that was sick. And it's weird. I grew up on the lake. I'm a lake girl, but I'm also like a beach girl. But I was like, okay, I had to prep myself when I started because this was the first time that I was like out in the middle of the water. And I was like, first of all, it was kind of shallow. I could stand in the middle. That was crazy. I'm not used to that. So when you're in a lake, especially in Florida, there are alligators, there are snakes, there are fish that bite. Like, the water is dangerous, but you're kind of just like, yeah, whatever. Um, yeah, like, it is what it is. You don't even think about it as a kid. But yesterday, I was like, do I need to worry about sharks? Oh, also, like, shark capital is in Florida, which I swam amongst so many sharks as a kid. But, like, here in this body of water that I didn't know, I was like, so am I going to be okay? Like,
Yeah, you don't know. That's the only thing I can say.
yeah, you just cannot even, like, you can't even be scared. But I was touching the ground, which was weird for me. Like, yeah, that was weird. But it was so fun. Honestly, so fun. Okay, so I debated putting this as the first question, but someone actually asked, how do you dismantle the patriarchy?
Okay, stop being creepy. And I knew there was going to be some politicalness that might happen. And I'm going to keep it very short, very simple, and under 5 letters. BOTE. Kaehla, your answer.
VOTE, what does that mean?
VOTE.
VOTE. Oh, yes, VOTE. You have to think 2 steps ahead if you want to win.
Just go vote and survive in this economy, to be honest, because
If you have a problem with it, change it.
yeah.
But okay, so honestly, excited. I know we're running out of time. This is the perfect way to close this episode. Actually, I feel like we should do Ask Us Anythings every week. This is so fun. Like, I like answering questions.
That's a season 2 proper thought, but
I'm just gonna push for every week. I'm just gonna be like, so ask us anything, guys. Oh wait, never mind.
yeah, this is, we still have the real torture for both of us.
Donut or donut hole?
Better question is, because every donut shop has a difference, has their preferences. You go to one donut place, you prefer one thing. You go to one spot, you prefer something else. So I'm gonna alter this.
You can alter it. I already have my answer. I'm doing a little research right now. Go ahead and alter it.
Which donut spots mainstream? I'm gonna even specify even more, make it a little wider, because we could go personal preferences on neighborhoods we grew up in, because I would throw Longs in above everybody.
No,
But
you should, because I'm doing my neighborhood one that I grew up with.
I'm gonna go mainstream. Mainstream donut shop of choice. Because there are We could go territorial. Kayla could say hers. I will say mine with Long's Bakery, West Side, Indianapolis, Indiana. Even though I grew up on the East Side, you still gotta love it. But yeah, for me, I will go Dunkin' over everybody.
Stop. No, it's Krispy Kreme. Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I will go Dunkin' over everybody.
No. Okay, when I lived in California, my family and I would get donuts every Sunday, and we started buying both Dunkin' and Krispy Kreme. One, because we had to feed so many people, but two, because we would have like taste tests every week on different flavors. Oh my God, Krispy Kreme.
My question, and even though I don't condone this for any college student, was there a, because I know there was a Dunkin' across the street from me while I was at Full Sail. Was there a Krispy Kreme anywhere near UCF's campus?
Yes, but I think Dunkin' also, but I go back to like my UF days, and I'm not even joking you, and I totally condone this. This is okay. You're allowed to not diet when you're studying. If you're stressed out, nothing beats getting a dozen glazed Krispy Kreme donuts.
Bruh!
No shame. My roommate and I would split a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts at 11 o'clock at night.
As I'm drinking a Rockstar to keep myself awake
Hot donuts.
during
Hot
this, I'm
hot
saying don't do what she just asked.
donuts.
Good grief.
Okay, but we need to talk about our local ones because I need to know where Long's is.
Okay, so West Side, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay.
And this off of, I want to say, near 16th Street. And legit, I could easily go, like, and this almost became the Sunday morning, like, hotspot, because I think there was a rarity that my family and I went before church, and when we were going to church on the West Side, even though we went on the East Side, there was a rarity to where we were actually waiting, but getting those like just at the right time, always perfect. And it had that similar value, even though the donuts, like you could nuke them for like maybe 30 seconds. So nuke, i.e. put them in the microwave.
I would do that. So,
perfect.
I don't know if they have them everywhere. I actually saw a sign for one when I was in Puerto Rico. I got so excited. But Donut King, that was really close to Full Sail and UCF. That was my place of choice. You just stick it in the microwave. I would tell them to stick it in the microwave before I left. And they had literally every flavor. They had like Oreo, like chunks of Oreo on the donuts. Oh, now Voodoo Donuts is the thing that we have, which you have in LA. But
yeah,
that's way
universal.
Yeah, exactly. Like Donut King, Long's, and then I need to talk about. I'm literally researching this right now. I have talked about opening a food truck, which I don't know if this will all like ever actually happen, but I'm still thinking about it. But opening a food truck because I love these donut holes called malasadas. And this is like I'm reading the background on this company and they're Portuguese donuts, but they're Hawaiian delicacies. And everything I talk about pastry wise seems to be Hawaiian. Like but they're like donut holes. Oh my god, they're so good. Like so good. Leonard's Bakery in Hawaii. I just looked up their locations. They're only in Hawaii and Japan.
Bruh.
So I think we need to travel and find the best donuts and make an episode. Wouldn't that be cool?
Even though there's already YouTube channels that do that.
Yeah, we could do whatever we want. And it's like ASMR because it's a podcast and you just listen to us eating donuts for half an hour. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I was
Do you
about
guys
to
want
say
that?
so you're suggesting doing a donut mukbang over Spotify, Anchor, and Google
Oh
Podcast.
my god. They're showing pictures. These look so good.
Which, with that being said, speaking of Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts, we got to thank you guys just for submitting your questions. And man, this was a fun little, I wouldn't say roast, but just fun little breakaway from the norm for me, for sure. I don't know for you, Kaehla, but man.
Yeah, I loved this episode. Thank you guys for entering your questions. The weirder the I like the weird questions. I know we try to keep it as normal as possible, but it made it really fun.
We're
All
both
these
content
random
creators,
questions.
the weirder the crazier.
I think that you guys know that I love food and musicals. So that if you ever want to know anything about me, food and musicals.
Yeah, just don't make it spicy if I'm anywhere near that. I
Also, I think even though we're not sponsored by these people, we should definitely tag them and let people know where they can get this stuff. Maybe there's like an ordering thing for people. I mean, we totally condone like going to these places.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Leonard's Bakery is not affiliated with any food delivery services. That answers that question.
Yeah, I
Guys, go
could have
to
told you
Hawaii.
that because you have to
Yeah,
look.
no one asked me about Hawaii. I
I'm
feel like
trying to
I've talked
say
about.
that
Sorry.
is a dream vacation or a dream honeymoon destination.
No, but they I flew to. I'm not even joking. The reason why I even moved to LA, I feel like is because I was crazy enough to fly to Hawaii for an audition to be a background character in Jungle Cruise.
And on that note,
I could have just driven to Atlanta. Guys, I will fly across the world.
yeah, and on that note, before I just lose my ever-loving marbles, and this totally goes off the rails, we gotta thank you guys for submitting your questions. And Kaehla, anything you want to pub?
Yes, guys. I don't know when it's going to go live. I'm working on a website for myself, KaylaMauer.com. That way you can keep up with all the things I'm doing. More so than just like a link tree or a flow page. So the podcast will be on there. Like basically my like acting clips, my music. I'm gonna be putting stuff up on SoundCloud. Kind of just get the ball rolling for the summer.
You're doing an updated Squarespace page or something?
Yeah, Wix. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that'll be live soon, guys. But follow us on social media at all_AM podcast and say your handle again. I always forget your personal handle.
At DK. It's very simple. All social media. And if I am not.
Number 4 real.
Yep.
And
And
KAEHLAMAURER. I'll be coming up with a jingle for my name because I am so over my name.
yeah. And that's why I just stuck with a D key instead of like the Donaze key,
I mean,
as my Facebook still says, which I don't
my
mind.
name's iconic, but like
Make
it's
business deals. But with that, if you guys have the time, I will be on streaming through my facebook.com/DKeyForReal. And right after this, till then, much love, guys. See you next week. TTFN.
Bye.